So are you tired of missing your putts on the low side? Or maybe you just want to read the greens more effectively. Well, this video, I'm going to take you through my 3-step process to reading the greens like a tour pro. So let's get stuck in and help you read the greens way better than what you're currently doing. All right, so I've got Ashton, my film guy here, and I'm going to ask Ashton to read this putt for me as he would. Now, he's played a little bit of golf, so he knows what he's doing. I'm going to give him this tee. So Ashton, can you read the putt from behind the golf ball? Put that tee where you think that you would need to stand with the putter and aim the putter. Where would you put that tee based on the read that, based on the slope that you're looking at? So jump over there by the hole. All right. Happy with that spot?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, let's see if that spot is correct. All right, so now that Ashton has chosen where he would aim the putter, where he thinks the ball's breaking, we're gonna find out a little bit later on in that video whether or not he was correct or not. But what you see on TV, you see the best players in the world read greens, and they read them pretty well. And you're going to see them do things like looking behind the golf ball. They're going to crouch down behind their golf ball. What are they looking at? That's the big question. Then you might see them, walk around the green. They've maybe come to the low side of the hole. What are they looking at here? Then they're going to come around and look at the putt from behind the hole. So now all of a sudden they're behind the hole. They come in, they're having their looks. Maybe you even see them walk up to, maybe to this part of the green, maybe to here. Now you might be wondering, why are they going to such an extent to try and read this green? What on earth are they looking at? Can't they just figure out the putt from back here? Well, no, they can't. There's a reason why they're walking around the green. They're trying to get all the information in their head to make an informed decision on how much this ball is going to break. So the reason why I think amateur golfers, recreational golfers, high handicap golfers are not very good at reading greens is purely because they only take a look from behind the hole. So they're only taking a look from back here. And as you can see, when Ashton took a look, didn't take any walks around the green. All he did was basically crouch down here and have a look, and that's his chosen spot where he's put that tee. Now, we're gonna figure out whether that's correct or not in a second, but that's what I see from amateur golfers. I don't see them walking around the hole. Now, I know what you're thinking, speed of play. I understand that, and I'm going to show you at the end of this video that speed of play when reading a green correctly, it's fine. It's not going to slow the game down. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you my 3-step system on how to read a green correctly, consistently, and more often than not, you're going to get the putt correct as opposed to missing that ball on the low side most of the time. All right, so this 3-step system that I'm talking about goes a little bit something like this. I want you to break your putt into 3 different areas. I want you to break your putt into the final third, is what I call the final third. So, for example, this putt here is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 feet. So, we're looking at the last kind of 3 to 4 foot. Where would the ball need to be at this moment in time? That's where we're going to put essentially a marker. So I'm not going to put these in the correct spot just yet, but we would be wanting to look at where the ball would be at this moment in time in the putt. From here, we would go to roughly the halfway mark. So the next third, I guess, would be somewhere in the halfway mark. So again, I'm not going to put these correct yet. I haven't read the green, but somewhere around there. Where does the ball need to be at that moment in time? And then ultimately the final or the first third is going to be over here. So what we're going to try and figure out is, if I read my putt, this should obviously look like a little bit of a semicircle, okay? Now, what I'm going to do here is, if we look at Ashton's putt, he has chosen to put this tee right there. Now that is his maximum. That's where he was aiming his golf ball. That's where he wanted the ball to start. That's his maximum read. So what we're going to do is actually hit that putt and see if he was correct. So we take our little markers away, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim at his tee And that's essentially where Ashton's chosen to read this putt. So a lot of golfers would maybe pick the same thing. We aim at that tee and we're going to try and hit our putt and hopefully hole it. As you can see there, we have missed that putt so low, it's not even funny. So Ashton's picked that green read, and this is what I see from a lot of amateurs. So what we now need to do is train ourselves to actually read this green correctly. So what we're going to do now is, I've got a tee. Now I'm going to actually read this green and I'm going to put my tee where I think the green, or where I think we need to aim the putter in order to hold this putt. So what we're going to do from there is we're going to go over a bit of a trial and error. We're going to put these markers down based on the 3-step system that I'm teaching you right now. And we're going to see if I can correctly read this green. So I'm going to come behind the hole and I'm going to take a proper look at this green read. So based on what I see and where I think the final third needs to be, I think my total read would be somewhere, and this might seem absolutely crazy to some of you, but I think the actual read is about there. Now you might think, compared to Ashton's, right, that is miles away. But let's see if I'm correct. Now let me show you how to read this green. We're going to take one of these little ghost holes, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm looking from behind the hole, I'm looking from the side of the hole, I'm looking from behind the hole. Where does the ball need to be rolling over at the last third of this putt? So let me come back behind this golf ball, and based on my tee, I'm looking at this ball rolling over this mark right here. So I'm not taking my eyes over that mark. That's where I want my golf ball rolling over when it's at that point in time. Now the reason being is because I know that this golf ball is going to be coming in from this angle here. I know that this putt's breaking so much, the ball's not coming in from here. It would have to be moving so fast. So I need this golf ball coming in from high of the hole. So that's where I think the ball needs to be. Now, the next step is essentially me trying to think, if my golf ball's going to roll over this marker at that moment in time, where does the ball need to be at the halfway mark? So that's where I'm going to put my next marker. So if I grab my next marker, I take another look, and I'm going to show you this at the end. It doesn't take that long, but while you're learning it, of course, it's going to take a little bit of time. So now I come back behind my golf ball, and I'm going to put my mark. See, I may have even underread this a little bit as I look at this, but I'm going to basically say that my golf ball needs to roll over that mark right there, okay? So that's my halfway point. So theoretically, if I get my ball to roll over the middle mark, or if I get my golf ball to roll over that mark, it should move through this mark, roll through this mark, and then roll into the hole. Now, I'm going to choose my last spot, which is my first third. So I always work back from the hole because it gives me an idea of where I want the ball to move. So as I take a look, I'm essentially reading the putt now from this ball to that marker. That's all I'm doing. I'm just reading the green to that marker. I don't need to read the rest of it because I've already got it. So as I go back, I'm going to read the green, and I reckon this ball needs to roll over this mark right here. So I've come up with 3 different spots on the green of where my golf ball needs to roll over. Might just move that over there a little bit. Where my ball needs to roll over in order to hold this putt. Now, what we're going to do here is, if I took a dead straight line from my golf ball through this marker, it would give me my green read. So you saw how I read the green before. You can see that I've put my marker there. But this green read will actually give me a different read altogether. Now I'm even higher. Now I'm actually in a straight line. And if we pan the camera over to this straight line here, we're going to see that the actual read is there. So you can see I actually underread, I'm assuming, we're going to test this out, but I've actually underread this one, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially treat this putt as straight, and I'm going to try and hit my ball over this marker and let the slope take the ball the rest of the way. So let's see what we've got and then what changes we might need to make. So let's go ahead and hit this putt. So my goal is to hit it straight over this first marker, and it should hit the other markers. Okay, so we come up a little bit short, but you can see that that was a lot closer than my first attempt at the start of the video. I've actually still got this golf ball quite high, so I'm not too far off. I think a little bit more speed and I'd be able to do it. Now, what you also notice is which marker did that miss? Missed the middle marker. Now, the reason why is because the putt had most of its speed through the start. So effectively, this marker needs to move up a little bit. But I can tell you right now, if I had chosen my first read, this middle tee over here, I actually think I'd be low of the hole. So let's give this another attempt. So we've moved the marker ever so slightly, and we've identified that I needed more speed. Okay, the green's not the best here today, but we need a little bit more speed. So let's give this a go. Again, my aim is to hit it through the first marker, have it hit the second marker, have it hit the final marker, and then drip into the hole. And the total read is that top tee up there. That's like 6 foot. There's a lot of break here. But that's how I would read this putt. Let's give this another go. Try and hit it a little bit harder this time. Oh, it's so close. All right, so the green speed here is just a little bit slow for this, essentially for the break that I've chosen. So what I would do is I'm going to try one more attempt. I'm going to bring everything a little bit lower. Now, this is proof that, this is, really good opportunity to talk about green speed, that when your speeds are a little bit slower, you have to take on a bit less break because we have to hit it firmer. So the faster the firmer we hit it, the less break it's going to take. So all of a sudden, this has now changed my break to actually be perhaps a little bit more over here. So we've taken a little bit less break, or we're taking a little bit more break out by hitting a little bit firmer. So we're going to give this one more attempt. And again, guys, it's not if I hold it or not, but what I'm starting to see is I'm starting to see my golf ball miss on the high side a lot more, as opposed to always missing it on the low side, which is what you're currently doing. So one final attempt. I've got my ghost holes all set up, and I'm going to go ahead and try and hit this putt firmer and get this thing to fall in the hole. We have a chance, we have a chance, we have a chance, we have a chance. Oh my God. So there you go, guys. That was pretty close. I mean, that's, unfortunately, the green speed here is a little bit slow, but you can see there that that putt needed to come in directly from right angles. But you can see there, hopefully you've understood that how to read this green is, in my opinion, you need to go and select the final third, because that's the most important part. That's where the ball is going to be at its slowest. So it's going to be breaking its most. Then you work back from there. Where do I need to have the middle part in order to try and actually get it over this marker here? And then ultimately read the green from the ball to this marker here, and you can actually work your way in that 3-step system. So I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. This is going to take far too long. We need a speed play up. We need to read the greens quicker. Well, I'm actually going to prove to you that this doesn't take that long at all once you learn how to do it. So I've got my phone, I've got my timer. I'm just going to read the green as I normally would in a game of golf. Let's see how long this takes. Okay, so let me start by, let's say I've marked my ball, I've put my ball back down. Let's start the timer right now. So I would come back behind the golf ball, and in my mind I'm reading, I'm seeing the markers that I've put down. I don't even need to actually go behind, but I might just take a quick, and again guys, this is when your playing partners are washing their golf balls and doing their other stuff. This is what you could be doing. Okay, so I've kind of taken my look. I get a good sense that the ball needs to be rolling up here. And for my routine, I put my line on my ball. For some, you don't have to, but I'm basically picking my spot. I come back, have a little bit of a look. Yep, I'm happy with that. We are only 40 seconds in. If you think 40 seconds is too long to hit a putt, you're off your head. Have my practice swings. I have 2 of them. Go ahead and hit the golf ball. Too slow. Wow, that green is so bumpy. Okay, nevertheless, 1 minute basically. Push stop, minute 5, and that included me actually watching the putt and grabbing my phone. So you can see there, this doesn't take that long. If you think 1 minute 5 seconds is a long time on the putting green, you're off your head. Alrighty guys, so hopefully you all enjoyed that 3-step system to reading greens. Remember, try and work out, now, the real shortcut to reading this green is actually, you only really need one thing, and that's to find where that ball needs to be in its final third. Once you've worked that out, you just work back. It's fairly simple. So find out the final third and you will read greens much better. Now, if you are still struggling with your putting, as you can see, during that whole video, my speed was super important to getting the correct read. So if you're struggling with your speed, I want you to click on the video that's on the screen right now, and I talk to you about a concept to really dial in your speed control on the putting green and make sure that you're reading the greens more effectively and having good speed control as well.